So I thought I'd take you on a walk into the woods today because there are some really beautiful spring flowers flowering, obviously, and I thought it would be really nice to see them in their natural environment. So typically, mainly really, we're looking at the primroses and the woodland anemones growing here, and there is a profusion of them. So, and they will soon be replaced by bluebells. So I will do an update video when all the bluebells are out, but they've got maybe another month or so, maybe even more to go yet. So let's get walking. So these are the woodland anemones, and you can see later on in the video there's a whole carpet of them, but look how delicate they are, aren't they beautiful? And so they obviously like a more shady aspect. And here are some primroses, and don't they just look like something out of a little fairy tale children's book, like, you know, Wind in the Willows or Tales from the Riverbank, Winnie the Pooh, Bramley Hedge, Peter Rabbit, all those stories. Even sort of, I was thinking of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit as I was walking around, and the moss all over the trees. And you know, you can just see how these sort of authors were inspired by this landscape. It's just so lovely. And I think they prefer also a slightly dappled area of woodland where the trees aren't, where the canopy isn't quite so thick, because I have noticed that there are thicker patches than other. They seem to like the banks towards the little stream that runs all the way through this wood. Particularly the primroses, they really hang on to the riverbank. So that's really surprising. I didn't think they were especially riverbank sort of flowers, but they do seem to love to cluster just on the sides, even right down to the water's edge there. Now, I did this walk the other day and I didn't post it because I can't remember what it was. Was it? I don't know. I don't think I filmed it very well. I think I was too hurried with the camera. I'm trying to do better with the camera work. You'll see as we go along this canopy of these woodland anemones, it just sort of grows. There's more and more of them as we go. But just to interrupt this for a moment, is the constant noise today of overhead private aircraft. We live probably 40 to 60 miles from central London, and there are a number of private airfields here. I mean, we can imagine the kinds of people using these airfields, but a lot of them are just locals also who are quite wealthy. But they just, on beautiful days like today, the drone of these aircraft, they do loop the loops, they just mess about, and all they're obviously business flyers flying to Europe, wherever they go on their private jets, aircraft. And it did really ruin the ambience of walking in the woods, and it did make me think, you know, when I move, because I told you in my previous video I'm probably going to sell my house, I will be looking to make sure there are no private airfields nearby, because I personally am really sensitive to it. I don't know whether it's something I've noticed as I've got older, but the constant droning noise that other humans make does really jar with me, especially when I come somewhere really peaceful, like a woodland like this, and you've just got planes just flying above, like with no, like just a handful of people with no regard for everyone else on the ground below, which could account for, which could amount to thousands or even tens of thousands of people who have their peace disturbed by, these annoying, drony aircraft constantly going over. I mean, if you live near Heathrow Airport, obviously you accept it. But if you move out to the country, you don't expect to hear constant. We get paragliding, private airplanes. Obviously, we get vintage airplanes doing shows. I don't mind that so much because they're just one-offs. But we get people hang gliding and the bzzz. It's just really, and it's so unnecessary. I don't know why people feel the need to do that. But anyway, okay. I'm ruining the ambience myself now, so I'll stop moaning, rant over, and let's get back to this beautiful woodland. And look at these flowers. I love that meandering river up there. Look at the curves on it. So I can't wait to bring you here when the bluebells are out. So let's keep walking. This way, maybe. We'll go this way. Arthur, wait! My dogs are so confused with me filming. They're thinking, why is she walking so slowly? Anyway, look at these. Look, they're just as far as the eye can see. Beautiful. And see these? This is where, these little tufty ones, they're almost a bit like grape hyacinth leaves. That's where all the bluebells are coming up. So all this green you can see in between the white, in between the anemones. So that will be bluebells, and it will just be a carpet of blue, and it will be really fragrant as well. But of course I can't show you that because you'd have to be there to smell it, and you can't actually smell it. So all these are bluebells. Look, all these green tufts here, they're all going to be bluebells. You can't smell it. Anyway, it depends on the day. Like if it's one of those hot, sweet spring days, then the fragrance is really mind-boggling. So this way. Look at these. I was trying to really, I tried to get it from different angles so that you could really get the impression of the beauty of it. Mavis. Come on in. So it's that funny time of year where we get sort of sunny spells and then we get these clouds coming over that sort of dull, you know, the sunlight, and it sort of creates quite a dramatic effect, I think. So it's quite atmospheric in the woods today. During the COVID lockdown, and it was pretty much one of the only upsides of the COVID lockdown, if you can really say there are any, the noise levels, of course, were eradicated because people weren't allowed to fly their planes, and people were just driving about less in general, and the wildlife just seemed to take over the land again. And so, you know, I walked in the woods and the deer were there and weaving between they're so silent, it's incredible. And they are exactly the same colour as these tree trunks now. And so when they're weaving between them, they can just disappear like a puff of smoke. It's incredible. Love to let my little dog off in this wood, but she would just go. I mean, if she saw a squirrel or a pine marten, and there's sheep on the right hand side in the fields, and my other dog will not chase sheep, but she will, and they're lambing at the moment, so it's just not really an option for me to let her off, which is sad because she'd love to bomb around here, but never mind. We have other places she can bomb around. I just love the way the primroses just sort of splash there. They just sort of splash. The leaves are like a splash in a puddle of leaves. They're so pretty. The delicate colour as well. They're just unbelievably beautiful. So much more beautiful than the big blousy colourful ones you see in the shops, which, by the way, I love, but there's nothing like seeing them in nature, you know, in their original native form. And here's what I mean about the atmosphere. Look at the sky up there. So sort of atmospheric. And I think it's nice to bring you along because, you know, not everybody can get to a woodland, and, you know, not everybody can get out all the time. So I think it's really nice to be able to, if you can't do it, the next best thing is to, you know, have a look at it on the screen. But also, I think, you know, not enough people are connected with nature anymore, which is why if you're not connected with it, it's so easy to destroy it or to turn a blind eye while it's being destroyed. So, you know, I'm obviously completely anti that. So I'll do whatever I can to kind of make people see it in a different way and help people reconnect with nature and growing and wildlife and, you know, going as green and organic as you can without being preachy. I'm not preachy about it, but I don't think people even realise they're disconnected from it till, you know, you're in it and then you think, oh, how lovely, isn't this lovely? And I think if you can't get out, just seeing the green and hearing the birds is just really, you know, restorative and enjoyable and relaxing.
Wait a minute.
So what do we think of this? Creepy. I mean, I suspect it's probably just a bunch of kids building a little shelter. It's probably on YouTube somewhere, isn't it? Somebody sort of spent the night out here. I would like to go over and have a closer look, but I don't want to walk on these bluebells. If I step between them, we can go and step between the clumps. We can go and have a closer look. Hope somebody doesn't jump out at me while we're getting closer. I certainly wouldn't come here at night. Weird. I don't want to touch that bag. Pair of shoes. Don't know. Not necessarily kids.
This way, back this way, Arthur.
You can see how many bluebells we're going to get. I mean, we're going to get more bluebells than you saw those woodland anemones. There's, look, all that green, that is all bluebells. I think my filming's getting a little bit ropey at this stage, and, you know, I don't know whether there's really much more to see on this walk at the moment, and with the aircraft and everything going over, so I think I'll probably cut it short, and I'll do more of these videos if you like them, and I'll find somewhere a little bit more tranquil or come at a more tranquil time. Look at that, spring. That's a really cute bud. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do and cut it short today now. Actually, I'll just show you where all the bluebells, I mean there's bluebells coming all the way through this wood soon, but this particular end of the wood is where they are most sort of, there's a most of profusion of them. I mean there's just a carpet everywhere. So we had a pretty bad storm recently which took down a number of trees, ancient trees even, in the churchyard even. So that's why you keep seeing trees sort of littering the pathways. They you know, we lost so many. It was a sort of a 1 in a 20-year event. You know, it was a pretty crazy storm. And I'm just really irritated by that droning noise above. One selfish person just making a racket, for the rest of us. So I'm going to wrap it up now because it didn't get any better, and I began sort of marching through the woods really quickly and getting really, really angry, which is the complete opposite of what you're supposed to be doing in a woodland walk on a beautiful day. But there was one after the other, private aircraft flying above, and the noise is so penetrating that I think it would just be too irritating for you. So I'm going to wrap this one up, and I will put another video on of our dog walks that's more peaceful. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show you, that's a beautiful view, don't you think? I sort of think that I'd like to paint something like that with the receding meadow in the background and the sort of the trees leaning in, and then the sort of atmospheric sky above. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up because it's the noise is annoying me too much. But I just wanted to show you those flowers, and hopefully what I might do is I'll come and film on a really bad day in the rain the bluebells, because I don't think they tend to fly their aircraft when it's raining. It tends to always be these sunny days. These people get them out and ruin the beautiful day for the rest of us. So anyway, hope you enjoyed seeing the anemones and the primroses in their natural environment. I thought they looked so beautiful, which is why I wanted to show you them. And I'll see if I can find some footage of the buzzard that I saw the other day, and he was sort of flying along that winding stream. He sort of came out of a tree and just swooped. It was so elegant. And just as I was saying about the deer being the same colour as the buzzard, as the trees, the buzzard is the same. I mean, it's so camouflage when he's flying through the trees. It's incredible. Really, the only way you can tell he's there is by the movement, which obviously goes against the trees. But yeah, I'll see if I can find that footage for you. It was very difficult. I'm not sure I captured it, but if I have it, I will tack it on the end of this video. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of these dog walking videos without the aircraft in the background, let me know, and I will do some more for you. Thanks for watching. Bye. Cute. Look how cute these are. I mean, do flowers honestly get any cuter than that? I don't know. Mavis, you're not going to make me go that way, are you? Come on. Let's jump over here. I don't want to jump over the mud. There we go. You can jump. I've almost gone full circle. You haven't been the whole way with us. Oh, there's the buzzard. Oh, I don't think I caught it. Oh, I'll have to rewind that back. I think that might have been in shots. Oh, goodness. It's always here as well in this valley area. I nearly always see it flying here. So I don't know what I do. Maybe just me approaching makes it fly off. Maybe it's the dogs. Maybe it was just going anyway. But it always flies along this valley here. And much like the deer, it is the same colour of the wood. See, as soon as it flies off between those trees, it just disappears. Immediately just camouflaged and gone. It's quite incredible. Oh, another tree down. Hang on, Mavis. I've got to put the... Oh, good. It's much easier when you jump over a log. Oh, I'd love to see that again. I'm going to have to rewind that back and see if I caught that on camera. That would be amazing.